to submit a story, topic, or have any other inquiries, please email submit@skibanewsnation.com. Also, you can email Jeremiah Skiba personally at jeremiah@skibanewsnation.com. Also, email Jake personally at jake@skibanewsnation.com. If you want to write us a letter, send us something, help support us, or just say hi, please send your letter to Jeremiah Skiba, P.O. Box 560-271, The Colony, Texas 75056. If you write us a letter, I'll do my best to write you back. Hey, Skiba News Nation family, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Skiba News Nation. If you want to help support us, please consider becoming a Patreon, where you will get exclusive content, shoutouts, and much more. And you can also support our channel by getting yourself some new Skiba News Nation merch. Thank you for coming on this journey with us as we continue to stay on the quest for truth. Huge shout out to all our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do this show without you. If you want to help support us, go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation. Also, you can listen to Skiba News Nation podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
What it costs. I want to know what the truth is. And I hope that people, my son, anybody, if my name comes up, whether you like me, whether you agree with me or not, at least you can respect the fact that he's on a quest for truth. He's on a quest for truth.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
Come on, Jeffrey, you can do it. Pave the way, put your back into it. Tell us why, show us how. Look at where you came from, look at you now. Zuckerberg and Gates and Buffett, amateurs can suck it. Drink their blood, drink their blood. Come on, Jeff, get 'em!
Now, what an evil man right there, am I right? I used to work at Amazon. He's basically Dr. Evil. Anyways, hey Skiba News Nation family, welcome to episode 75 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source of the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host, Jeremiah Skiba, and today we're going to be talking about human chop shop raided in Phoenix, Arizona, Vivek Ramaswamy spitting hard facts for the 2024 presidential election, President Trump, Vanilla Ice, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles partying it up. Did Catholicism start Islam to reclaim the Holy Land? Crazy videos coming out of the U.S. southern border. Another OPA'S Corner's Got Talent. And for history, we'll be talking about Anonymous exposes the moon landing hoax, the atomic bomb conspiracy, and some funny George Carlin moments, memes, and much more. So subscribe and stay tuned. And welcome, Jake. I hope you're doing well, and I know we got a great show for you guys today, so let's dive right in.
Hey, what's up, Jeremiah? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of videos to look at this week. It's really interesting as we go into 2024. We have a lot to be aware of coming up. A lot of different things moving on this chessboard of world deceptions. And I found this an interesting video. It's supposedly the FBI shining light on a human chop shop that was raided in Pheonix, and it's really interesting to me because I wonder if there's a correlation between this and the trafficking, and also the correlation between what was exposed several years ago with the sale of body parts from children from Planned Parenthood.
Selling bodies and body parts, a trial set to begin in just months. And tonight, new grisly details of what the FBI says really happened.
Court documents, the Biological Resource Center was essentially running a chop shop for human body parts, mixing, matching, and selling them in ways we'd never heard of until tonight.
One FBI agent revealing what it was really like inside the Pheonix body donation facility, from buckets of heads, arms, and legs to coolers filled with severed penises when the FBI raided the building. He even spotted a smaller head sewn onto a larger torso in a, quote, Frankenstein manner. The limbs, according to that agent, with no apparent identification. A torso with a head apparently went for $2,400. A leg about $1,100. They'd even sell knees and feet alone for under $500.
The owner of the Biological Resource Center was already sentenced, but he was only given probation.
Selling bodies and body parts.
How crazy to see something like that. And when you look at the prices of body parts, it's insane. Like, who asked that question? Like, was it on like a wall? It was like one of those butcher shops, with the cattle cuts, but human. Oh, how terrifying. But yeah, it reminds me of what was discovered recently about Planned Parenthood and the sale of fetal parts. Very shocking that this goes on, but there's a business in anything. I mean, they get you when you're born in the hospital system. Look up the movie The Business of Being Born. They get you during life with taxes and all kinds of different things, and then they get you in death. The mortuary services and funeral homes, and just getting a body in the ground, and what goes around that, and the whole task of who gets a cut of estate, stuff. So anyways, here's another video wanted to check out. I thought it was interesting. Kent Hovind was a favorite of Rob's. I thought that he was I think that Kent Hovind is a very big inspiration to a lot of people in terms of taking a pragmatic, intellectual approach to answering questions. And he made a connection I wanted to throw out there. Jeremiah and the audience, if you guys have any thoughts on what he says here, leave it in the comments. I'm curious. But here's his proposition.
Very few people realize it was the Catholics that started Islam. They started the whole religion purposely to try to get the Holy Land back for the Catholics. They built up the Islam, they funded Muhammad, they trained him, they sent a Catholic nun out of the monastery. They said, we want you to come out of your convent, go find a young promising Muslim, marry him, and train him to raise up an army of Arabs to go take back the Holy Land for the Mother Church. Quite an interesting story if you want to read about that. It started to work, but then it failed because Islam got so big, they said, well, forget you Catholics, we're doing what we want. And I don't think most Muslims, which is now, 20% of the world population, Islam, I don't think most of them know that they really started off as a front for the Catholic Church.
Yeah, the more you know, the more you know, very interesting theory there. I know it's well recorded that Muhammad had a wife that was a Catholic nun. All right. Now, as we enter into 2024, we, of course, have the presidential candidates rearing up.
Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Christian Welker here, do you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, Christian, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation? Answer the question. Go. Mr. Ramaswamy. This is how we get our country back. We need accountability because this media rigged the 2016 election. They rigged the 2020 election with the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
and they're going to rig this election.
Your time is up.
Accountability.
Let me turn to Governor Christie. Why you?
Think about it.
Yeah. All right. Next video here. makes sense now, doesn't it? Check this out.
Bring it back to that controversial plea deal, right, from Alex Acosta, who was the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida at the time, who, as we know, resigned Friday. He said, even he himself said, I was told Epstein, quote, belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. So let me take you to Robert Steele, who's a former CIA and military intelligence officer.
Okay.
This is his statement. He says, I remain of the view that Jeffrey Epstein is a Mossad clandestine operations officer, assisted by Mossad clandestine operations officer Ghislaine Maxwell, and that their mission is to do precisely what they have been doing: entrap U.S. politicians, judges, celebrities, prosecutors, and corporate leaders.
And most governments will do this if they could. It just so happens the Israelis are really good at it.
Right, I mean, what could be a better asset than someone who has all this dirt, right? This quote-unquote blackmail.
He tycoon, prime minister, prince, or former president or present president. If somebody was to say to them, I have video of you with a 14-year-old girl.
You do whatever they wanted.
You
right?
own them.
Right. And let's bring it back to that controversial plea deal, right, from Alex Acosta, who was the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida at the time, who, as we know, resigned Friday. He said, even he himself said, I was told Epstein, quote, belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone.
All right, so I just wanted to end with that one quote. The connection there with Mossad and Epstein, and just the recent release of more information regarding who was actually going to that island and participating with Epstein and his kind of schemes. It's very interesting what's being revealed on the Epstein list, and just the connection here between Epstein and Mossad it seems to be like a plan to infiltrate high established political figures and rich people in Hollywood and all kinds of people by holding blackmail over them, as they describe in this video. But yeah, leave your comment below on anything you've heard on the recent Epstein information coming out. What are your thoughts? This is a funny example of what it what it looks like to break the truth to your descendants as they grow older and are more accountable, whether to shatter their reality or not. Okay, check this out.
Son, you know, once you start, there's no going back.
I know.
This means total commitment. Once you begin the path, there is no leaving the path. Are you sure you're ready for that? I mean, really ready?
I guess so.
Me? We'll start tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you want to keep your children innocent as long as possible, and but I will say that children that don't have to unwind like programming from their psyches are more powerful to it. I mean, they're more able to speak and break spells and destabilize the paradigms that we've been placed in when they know that, you know, we've been lied to. So, you know, it's just, you got to know how to introduce truth in a tactful way, I think. All right, check this clip out. World Economy 2024 prediction. Let's see.
What's going to go on with the world economy? Tell me.
We're going to have a reset in 2024. Every time we have a dragon year, that's usually when the reset comes. Last time we had a big major reset was 2000 with the dot-com bubble, and that was also a dragon year. The Fed is going to have to introduce their Fed coin because a lot of other countries don't want to deal with the dollar anymore. So the Fed's going to have to do something, or it's going to be the U.S. military because they have to protect their dollar. The reason that America is the world superpower is because the petrodollar system, that is crumbling. At some point, the Fed's going to have to basically step in and be like, you know what, we're going to have a Fed coin. And for that to happen, a lot of these other coins have to die first.
What's going to go on with the world economy? Tell me.
We're going to have.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a lot of economic turmoil coming in 2024 as nations seek to exit the traditional petrodollar system with BRICS nations and crypto. All right.
U.S. politicians. We represent the interests of multinational corporations, not you.
We're U.S. politicians. We've somehow convinced you that universal health care is a bad thing.
We don't view you as people.
We're U.S. politicians. We've created a bipartisan system so I can be as horrible as I want as long as I convince you the other guy's worse. Even though
we work for the same guys.
We're U.S. politicians. We tell you there's a climate crisis, but we all fly private.
We act moral while simultaneously being lobbied.
Which is legal corruption.
We get you to argue over social issues to distract from the underlying class issue.
Which is really a much bigger problem, you know?
We tell you to vote, and if it's not for our team, we'll change the district.
We can't find money to invest in education or infrastructure, but we can always find some for a war.
We've convinced you that your poverty is your fault.
And has nothing to do with the system we created.
We're U.S. politicians. We're spineless, immoral, corrupted sociopaths. Don't forget to vote. We're U.S. politicians.
Don't forget to vote. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, man. Here's a good post in the text column. It says, "Do you know Jesus? He is our only hope." But here's an interesting breakdown of some prophetic and political connections.
Biden passes a defense bill that allows it to be legal to search and seize property and telephone conversations, text messages, and emails from the American public without a warrant. Russia and Iran have officially dropped the US dollar, and T-Mobile has silently slipped into their new TOS, a policy that says that if you're talking about anything that they dislike through your text messages, your social media platforms, or otherwise, that they are going to fine you, because they can legally do that now because of this Defense Act that President Biden passed to spy on American citizens. And so the censorship crackdown has begun in full, and it's going to increase. The arm of the government is totalitarian. Persecution of Christians is on the rise, and the US dollar is on the verge of collapse as Iran and Russia totally depart from the US dollar, and as other nations like China and other big nations are dumping US treasuries. Are you ready for what's next? If the answer is no, then you're a wise person, because there is no readiness, there is no preparedness. We're not ready for this. And the only way we're getting through it is through the Spirit. The only way we're getting through it is with Jesus Christ on our side, because He has the victory. We don't unless we have Him. Praise God, the King of Kings. Get to know Jesus.
All right, well put. So I think it's interesting, some of the connections he was making, and some of the news we're going over today, and the kind of the avenue in which 2024 is going to play out is going to be one that is very full of careening trucks, trying to wreck the ride. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know what's coming next, but it's good to be aware. Here's an interesting one.
My husband owns a gun shop, and he just called me to tell me that the ATF has made updates to their background check policy, and effective today, they give an exemption to illegal immigrants to be able to purchase firearms. Now, this strangely coincides with California, New York, and Chicago making it legal for illegals to be police officers.
Oh.
Tell me our government isn't about to pull some shenanigans without telling me our government's about to pull some shenanigans. So my husband...
Yeah, it's our foreign UN army coming in. We don't even know. They're going to be the ones that are like feeding us in our FEMA camp cell. They're like, "Oh, you disrespect the foreigner? I'll give you my boot." All right. So recently, this is a crazy thing. A big explosion happened. Just check out this video. Blew my mind. This happened near Arlington.
saw something last night I shouldn't have. You know that explosion in Arlington, Virginia? Well, that was like 2 minutes from my old house, so I was really intrigued on what was going on there. And then I found the LinkedIn profile of the guy's house it was, and he had a lot of evidence on like corrupt lawyers and judges, and like I didn't see a lot because I didn't care that much, but like I definitely saw like I think a few things that like not too much. So like my point is it's gone now, and if I disappear, you know why. I just want to express, like John McAfee did, you know, he said I would not hurt myself. Well, I'm saying this now, I would never hurt myself. And also, two, all I do is play video games, work on music, and hang out with my dog and my roommates. So, like, should I be worried? I think I saw something last night.
Should I be worried? But look at that explosion. That is crazy. You know, just a story there. The suspect had evidence against government officials. Oh, yeah. That's one worth digging into, guys. I don't want to say too much because I know it's on the radar, but yikes. All right, I thought this was an interesting thing. Check this out.
Except that the state of your mind makes it so. Nothing is impossible.
This is what they're hiding, maybe? I don't know. It's like right out there in plain sight, and everybody's like, oh, how do UFOs work? Well, this is how they work. You know, guys as smart as Tesla and, you know, Searle, I guess. That's amazing. But back on the whole migration topic, check this video out. Clips from the I wonder why. Well, maybe it's because he moved to Texas, right? And I think going along with that same story, this interesting video of how illegal immigrants are being flown all over the U.S. Check this out.
These are not U.S. citizens on this flight. This is flight data from the last 6 months of the illegal migrants that are being flown all over our country at U.S. taxpayer expense. Make it make sense. These are not U.S. citizens on this flight. This is flight data from the last 6 months of the...
And, you know, with all this talk about illegal aliens, I wanted to show this crazy trailer park alien music video.
Hey Joe, this guy needs help with his car. I think he came from afar, like another state. I don't know, he just points at the stars. And the way that he talks is bizarre. Right in his leg, I know, just to make it a car. I don't know, look, it caught me off guard. Looks real strange in the dark. Look, it's here at the park. Bark! What the heck are you saying? Probably speaking some Spanglish. Oh my God, it's an alien. He's a foreigner, ain't he? No, not from Mexico, Braden. He crashed his car on the pavement. Dummy, that's a spaceship. We found the location. Patience. Sneak in and take 'em. Retreat the spaceship with no hesitations. Don't let the locals know that we survey them. Often with force as they make altercations. Good gracious, how did they make this? Go get my tool set. Here's some beer cases. What are nations made by aliens? Like Toyota. Dummy, that's Asian. Got him. What the heck are you saying? Those are government agents. Knock it off, he's a harmless Asian. We're preventing invasion. Woo, stop illegal immigration. Right, oh, right. He's here for the taking. Stand back, we're protecting the nation.
Hilarious. Just the funny, you know, coincidence that, you know, the past year or two we've had all this alien disclosure, and we have illegal alien disclosure, and we have, you know, all, I don't know. We can go on and on. Anyways, yeah, some more footage. You know, some of the things coming All right, so and something lighter. I wanted to have a more ancient touch to what I wanted to share here. Here's an interesting melody that is apparently an ancient rhythm. So check this out. All right, check out this one. Just a little bit of satire of a little Zelensky getting some money from Washington.
I mean, fund the war to fight against democracy. Thank you, thank you. As I told General Austin, I have come here for a re-up of cash. I brought the coke, I brought the hookers, I brought the kickbacks. Now, where is my money? I needed to buy another yacht. I mean, fund the war to fight against democracy. Delete the yacht part. I have dirt on all Washington politicians, and I will release unless I get my money. Do you want your sons and daughters sent to the war?
Oh, man. Now, of course, it's labeled as meme/satire, but it's so funny seeing Zelensky laying it out like that. I brought the hookers and drugs and whatever else you want. Now, time to re-up. All right, so I always think this is interesting. When we think about the conflict that's going on in the Middle East and Ukraine and just our scale of the world, sometimes we can really remove ourselves distance-wise from the drama, from the action. This puts in perspective in a very interesting way the size discrepancy from our maps that we generally have and are accustomed to in our minds, like, the risk board, and how the world is actually shaped. And of course, the azimuthal equidistant map to me is a good alternative there, but I will say no more. Check this out.
And this is wrong. What if I told you that from here to here, it's 6,400 kilometers, but from here to here, which only looks like half the size, is 7,200. The continent of Africa has been shown smaller than it actually is. What if I told you that Greenland was only this size? Or Russia was this size? Or the US and Canada were much smaller? You know what? This is the real map.
No, it's not. Look at it. No, no, this is interesting. I just wanted to show the sizes of the different countries here. And, whenever you kind of wrap it all around the supposed North Pole, how close the U.S. and Canada and all that is to other things generally, it puts in perspective that the world is not as big as we can kind of trick ourselves into believing. But apparently some parts are way bigger than we've been assuming. So, oh, man.
Look at Sweden, Finland, and Norway. They're much smaller now. Or Greenland is tiny. Maybe it wasn't practical, but it seems unfair towards Africa.
Does seem pretty unfair. All right, so there's a variety of things this week. Kind of kept it fun, interesting. It is the beginning of 2024 of the Gregorian calendar, of course, for those of you who don't keep some alternative, perspective of how cosmology and the heavens and all that, tie into how we should keep time and celebrations and whatnot. But with that said, Shabbat Shalom for those of you who are about to participate. My shirt actually says right here, Shabbat, just keep it. My family got that for me. So, anyways, all right, so that's all the news for this week, Jeremiah. Hope you guys enjoyed some of those interesting, controversial topics.
Thank you, Jake, for another great current news as always. And now I'd like to show you guys my dad's refraction kit. Check this out.
Globalists, guys, these are people who believe in the globe now. They are the ones that said, hey, the atmosphere really is acting like a lens, and they put a lens in front of the camera to show how it works. So I'm just doing what they're doing. I'm using the same logic that they're using, the same science that they're using. And, science is all about testable, observable, and repeatable data, right? So, to alleviate the problem of distorting the edges because the magnifying glass ring is too small, and I got these plastic magnifying sheets and came up with another way of doing the same thing using the sheet right here. Set the city up, a little cutout of the city, and now I've got the big magnifying glass sheet. Bring the camera right up to the lens. See, that's the normal view of the city. Now let's back up again.
The science is the same of that of a lens. Here's a simple example.
So if you're looking at Chicago here, the atmosphere really is acting like a lens. Yes.
Atmosphere really is acting like a lens, and this is how much of the city is missing due to the lensing effect, the magnification of the atmosphere. You're missing, a good portion of the city just by pulling my iPhone back on a 3-foot long desk. That's how much I lost of the city. And as with any scientific experiment, you always try to improve upon what you did before. So I got some foam core, made a little housing for the magnifying sheet, and pasted the city on the back there, and I made it as 2 separate pieces so that I could flex it as necessary, because I think that there are different types of atmospheric conditions that would allow for more magnification versus less magnification. Just go out into a field, something like this nice flat field out by my apartment complex. Lower your iPhone to the ground to simulate us, because we're really small on this massively large plane, right? Straight horizontal plane. Then go ahead and walk away from your camera on this flat horizontal plane, and just for the fun of it, let's go ahead and bring the city in here, and I'll try to keep my head right between those 2 buildings right there, and I'm going to pull the city along on this flat, straight, horizontal plane, pulling the city far away, and just simply due to perspective lines, look at what we end up with, boys and girls. Amazing, isn't it? Now let's bring the water line in to simulate water instead of grass, and get rid of the background there with some sky. Now let's slide our little city over here, put the big city back in, and, well, just due to perspective lines, this is how much of the city magically disappeared. So based on what we've just seen here, apparently all you either need is atmospheric magnification, refraction, or perspective lines. Either one or all 3 can easily account for the obscuring of the lower parts of cities, and ships for that matter, with no need of curvature whatsoever. But just as sort of a bonus round, if perspective works for ships and for cities, I guess it would work the same for the sun too. So maybe this explains sunrise and sunset on the flat Earth. Works the same way. Perspective. Pretending my face is the sun. There you go. It's not rocket science.
You don't get to pick the anomalies that seem to agree with your views and ignore the common observations that don't, and still call yourself an honest investigator. That is intellectually dishonest.
So you can get your very own refraction kit and prove that the Earth is flat from your own living room. Well, it's about that time for an all-new OPA'S Corner. Take it away, Opa.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
Welcome to another OPA'S Corner. So, how about another OPA'S Got Talent. The classic song, 50 Ways to Wake Your Owner. Just walk on his back, Jack, by the right hand stand. No time to be coy, Roy, you got to have food. Step on his nuts, Gus, don't need to meow much. Just gotta be rude, Jude, and soon you'll have food. Just walk on his back, Jack, by the right hand stand. No time to be coy, Roy, you got to have food. Step on his nuts, Gus, don't need to meow much. Just gotta be rude, Jude, and soon you'll have food. And I would walk 500 feet, and I would walk 500 more just to be the cat who throws up on the rug, not on the hardwood floor. The turkeys singing their hit, Already Gone. Well, I heard some people talking just the other day, and they said you were gonna roast me on a rack. But let me tell you, I got some news for you. You'll have to settle for tofu, 'cause I skipped the pin and I ain't coming back. Bohemian apathy. Nothing really matters, anyone can see. Nothing really matters. The only one who matters is me. Cinderella meets her fairy godfather. They're right on your back, they're gonna get whacked. Bippity boppity boo. No, it's okay. Come on, people now, help out each other, please nobody get together, must avoid one another right now. The classic song, Don't Stop Retrievin'. Some will win, some will lose, some were born to chew on shoes. Oh, the chasing never ends, it goes on and on and on and on. Enter House Cat.
Yeah.
Look at that mean drummer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Hush, little human, don't say a word, and never mind that noise you heard. I just flew up under your bed. I'm in your closet. I'm on your head. Exit line. Enter night. The classic song, Every Meal You Make. Every pie you bake, every hot pancake, every New York steak, every damn cornflake, I will want that food. When you gave me bad food, it hurt me to my soul. You didn't take the hint when I stared at the bowl, but I'll get my revenge. Gonna put you in your place.
Put you in your place.
I just licked my rear end. Now I'm gonna lick your face.
Yeehaw! Howdy ho.
Friends. So no one told you life was gonna be this way.
Click, click, click.
Your food's a joke, you're broke, you want treats but can't pay. It's like you're always stuck inside a drawer. When you scratch like mad, wanting so bad, but they won't open the door. I'll be there for you when you barf on the floor. I'll be there for you. Yeah, I've done that before. I'll be there for you, 'cause you're there for me too. Could you be any more of a clean freak?
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
I may not always love you, but long as you keep giving me food, you'll never need to doubt it. I'll step on your face and shout it. God only knows what I'd eat without you.
And they'd eat our face.
I just called to say I want food. I just called to say fulfill your role. I just called to say I want food. Give me food. I see the bottom of my bowl. I knock stuff down and I throw up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I knock stuff down. This will be stuck in my head for days. David Grohl's cat. Now I'm looking to the sky to feed me, looking for a sign of life, looking for something to eat. It's 4:05. Mess up the song, you're the piano cat. Walk on the keys today. When the human is playing a melody, it's your job to get in the way. Pervana. With the lights out, you can see us. Here we are now. Time to feed us. Don't be stupid. You can feed us. On your face now. Time to feed us.
Hey. Hey.
Margaritaville cat version. Sniffing some catnip, watching the sun dip. My silly humans mixing a drink. Playing with some string on the front porch swing. This nip is so good I can't even think. Sleeping all day again in Margaritaville. Playing with an old shaker of salt. Don't really care, I knocked it under a chair. He left it out. It's my human's fault.
Sure is.
Don't know the reason. This catnip's so pleasing. Helps pass the time when there's not much to do. See a broken mug, some barf on the front rug. What happened here? I haven't a clue. Sleeping all day again in Margaritaville. played with that old shaker of salt. Don't really care that it's stuck under a chair. Listen to me, it's my human's fault. I slipped on a flip-flop, I batted a pop-top. Rather have wet food, but ain't gonna beg. But there's nip in this cat toy, and soon I will feel joy. Then maybe go scratch up that old sofa leg. Sleeping all day again in Margaritaville. Watching this guy still search for his salt. He won't look there under that big leather chair. I feel no guilt. Yeah, it's all his fault. And now for the funnies. Late at night, and without permission, Reuben would often enter the nursery and conduct experiments in static electricity. Well, sir, my client said he wasn't having any fun, and that you just kept chasing him and chasing him around this mulberry bush, and that's when, out of self-defense, he decided to pop you one. As Niles left the safari club, his stomach suddenly knotted up. Foolishly, he had ignored the warnings not to park his Land Rover in this part of Tanzania. It's a cute trick, Warren, but the Schuberts are here for dinner, so just abracadabra this thing back to where it was. Sweatpants, sweatpants, sweatpants. Interestingly, while certainly the largest, Jupiter also has the shortest day of all our planetary neighbors, with a new sunrise every 10 hours, meaning that if it were habitable, there would be approximately 2.4 times as much cock-a-doodle-doodling as there is here on Earth. Curses! How long does it take Igor to go out and bring back a simple little brain, anyway? While Granddad searched for the end of the tape, the children cut the wrapping paper, then went to bed, finished college, got married, had kids of their own, and retired out of state. Voila! Your new dream home. If you like it, I can have a crew mixing wood fibers and saliva early as tomorrow. So, Shredder, either you put on one of these new uniforms, or you're out of the gang. Egyptian archaeologists discover the world's oldest fruitcake. It's still edible. Making sure not to disturb their quarry, nature lovers would approach the glass slowly, hoping to get a good look at the normally shy desert animals. Acting class. Assignment. Pretend you didn't get fed. If you do something wrong, just look at them like this.
That has to do with my history, kind of.
Squirrels in training. Okay, here comes a bunch of cars. Let's remember the 3 S's. Scamper into the street, scramble around, and stop for no reason. Hey, come on now. You two were made for each other. Preacher from the Black Lagoon. Buoys and grills, let's praise cod and turn to Ephesians 6:12. Are we in the right place? Well, Mr. President, let's see. Carry the 1, take away 3, carry the 2. That would be 407 years ago. Creative dog writing. Call of the Calf by Zeke. I sensed the mailman's fear as he opened the gate. It was like a warm stench in the air, so thick you could cut it with a knife. Suddenly I felt myself growing dizzy, as if the fear was some powerful drug. The entire yard began reeling, and then I heard his soft, plump calves begin calling to me. Zeke, Zeke, bite us. Zeke, bite us. R.J. Harwell, born 1914, gave up smoking 1959, gave up booze 1973, gave up red meat 1983, died anyway 1991. Dang! Get my shotgun, Ma! The aliens are after the chickens again! Community Center. Starting soon. Cat obedience classes. Book now.
Charlie is so offended right now.
Here are the blueprints. Now look, this is going to be the Liberty Bell, so we obviously expect that it be forged with great diligence and skill.
And then it cracked.
Tonight, Produce Poetry Slam. I'm getting old, but I'm not through. You think I'm rotten? I say, you. I'm Spotted Brown, and my name is Fred. not going to be put in no banana bread. Woo! Grammar, punctuation. Yes, a winky face is correct, but in ancient times the semicolon was actually used to separate archaic written devices known as complete sentences.
That's probably so true.
What happened to my blouses? Dang it, I bought the wrong detergent. Yuletide. And you need a brain, and I need a heart. What's up with these guys? I need eyes. Hair. I need a mouth. I need a nose and feet and fingers. I need pants. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I'd say we taste a little like chicken. Unfortunately, no one believed the Turkinator. Guys, I'm not kidding. I'm a robot from the future. Your lives are in danger. Come with me if you want to live. Charlie. Huh, you got quite a business there.
Yeah, he's smart.
And that concludes another OPA'S Corner.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
OPA'S Corner is now available on my own YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
Let's give it up to Opa at home for a great Opa's Corner. I love when he does the singing one. So Charlie's sleeping. You see him? Typical cat, right? Now a word from our good friend and sponsor, JJ. Are you tired of living in constant pain? Do you feel like you've tried every CBD product on the market with no relief? Look no further than JJ's Natural CBD Rub. When I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, this was the only product that completely took my pain away. Working with JJ has been a dream come true, and his products have completely changed my life. Don't just take my word for it. Visit JJ's website, jjcbdrub.com, and read hundreds of testimonials from people whose lives have been changed by all of JJ's amazing products. And now, as a Skiba News Nation exclusive, you can get $50 off a 3-pack special of JJ's Natural CBD Rub by texting CBD to 920-382-7720. Don't suffer in silence any longer. Take control of your pain today with JJ's Natural CBD Rub. Again, text CBD to 920-382-7720 for an exclusive discount and start feeling the relief you deserve. The links are in the description below. Thank you, JJ. Alright guys, well I'm excited about this one. It's time for some history. So today for history, we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff about a group of people that are called Anonymous. And their official YouTube channel has they've called out Scientology, they've called out cults, they've called out politicians, and like literally gotten their attention. So now they're bringing attention to the moon landing hoax, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. But it's super cool that a channel like Anonymous is covering it. So let's check out this first clip.
Former head of Russia's space agency says that the Apollo moon landings were fake. And in a recent video going around, Vladimir Putin is briefed that several moon landing images are considered to be fake by artificial intelligence.
То есть почти все объекты на этом фото ей кажутся ненастоящими. В то же время вот фотография китайского лунохода у нее особенных вопросов не вызывает.
There's a great deal of human intelligence who do not believe that the Apollo moon missions were authentic. And here are some of the reasons why. NASA was run by former Nazi Wernher von Braun, who was beholden to the U.S. government for secretly importing him into the country via Project Paperclip, as were the dozens of other Nazis who joined him to work as rocket scientists, all of them with a good reason to keep a secret. And the overwhelming majority of astronauts were Freemasons and the sons of Freemasons. Freemasons swear on their lives to keep the secrets they are entrusted with. Why on earth would anyone trust NASA? If the moon landing was real, it would have been a miraculous achievement because NASA was failing at every level of the mission and did not believe they would be able to achieve their goal. In 1967, government inspector Thomas Barron testified before congressional investigators that the Apollo program was failing. 6 days after his testimony, he was killed with his wife and child when a train crashed into his car. Astronaut Gus Grissom held an unauthorized press conference where he criticized the program and said it would take another 10 years to fly to the moon. 5 days later, he was killed on the job. Gus Grissom's last words were, "How are we going to get to the moon if we can't talk between 2 or 3 buildings?"
Hey, how are we gonna get to the moon if we can't talk between 3 buildings? I can't hear a thing you're saying. Jesus Christ. But how are we gonna get to the moon if we can't talk between 2 or 3 buildings?
Moments later, the Apollo 1 command module caught fire. Astronauts Grissom, White, and Chaffee, several key members of the Apollo mission, resigned just months before the mission. NASA had several problems to solve. Problems with communications, the rockets, and the lunar module. But one of their biggest obstacles was deadly radiation. In order to reach the moon, one has to pass through what is known as the Van Allen radiation belt. And NASA announced in 2014 that this was still a problem when they launched an unmanned spacecraft to try to solve it.
Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
Aside from the Apollo moon missions, no one has ever gone past the Van Allen radiation belt. The Apollo moon mission had no protection against the radiation, and astronauts don't even seem to know about it.
Any ill effects from the Van Allen radiation belts?
No, now I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt. Maybe we did.
The belts are 1,000 miles to 25,000 miles above the Earth.
Then we went right out through them.
According to NASA, we can go no higher than low Earth orbit.
The plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go, and this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to.
In the documentary film, a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. The 3 astronauts of Apollo 11 are seen in low Earth orbit, figuring out how to stage a fake image for the camera. This film was recorded when the Apollo 11 was said to be nearing lunar orbit, and we can see and hear them manipulating the shot to make the Earth appear to be thousands of miles away, when in fact they have blacked out the inside of the craft and are blocking off the window facing the surface to make it look like the Earth at a distance. When we hear Houston radio approval for the shot, the astronauts do not respond until an unknown third party can be heard whispering, "Talk."
Hello, Apollo 11. Houston, Goldstone says that the TV looks great. Over. Okay, Roger.
The astronauts are told they are being pre-recorded, and edited for a subsequent live broadcast. Buzz Aldrin explains how they shut out the sun to achieve the illusion of the one window being the Earth in the black of space. And with direction from Houston, they get it to look right for the camera. We then hear the portion meant for the public, with Neil Armstrong claiming to be 130,000 miles from Earth and describing a single camera pressed up against the window to achieve the shot. But in the unedited footage, we see objects passing between the camera and the window. We see a work light in the dark. And finally, when they are done with their hoax, the final few frames reveal the truth. Protecting humans in this radiation wasn't the only problem. The high-end Hasselblad camera had no protection against radiation, and there is no explanation as to how it was able to take photographs in negative 200-degree weather with a constant bombardment of cosmic radiation. And the pictures themselves are full of anomalies. According to the official story, the only external light source was the sun. But in all these photographs, there appears to be only artificial light, hot spots, and fall-off areas, when it should be as bright as a desert on Earth. And if the sun were the only light source, then all shadows would run parallel to each other. But in these photos, shadows either run perpendicular to each other, proving multiple light sources, or in others, the shadows are divergent, proving a single local light source. Shadows created by sunlight have a sharp edge. Shadows created by artificial light have fuzzy edges. Even the camera expert from Hasselblad agrees that these photos were shot using artificial light sources.
Yes, it seems like he's standing in the spotlight. And I can't explain that. That escapes me. Why?
The photographs all appear to have been taken on a professionally lit soundstage, which could have easily been part of their billion-dollar simulation project.
Oh, so Werner von Braun was able to walk on the moon without a helmet or anything. Isn't that interesting? I'm so glad a channel like Anonymous, I love their channel. I suggest subscribing to them because they talk about some of the realist stuff happening in today's world, just like we are. I mean, they're now exposing the moon landing hoax, which is great. Now, I was always under the impression that radiation ruins film. Is that right, Opa?
Yep.
So this is what I don't understand. Take me back to 1969. That's when it happened, right? The moon landing. Take me back to back then. They didn't have any streaming platforms, right?
Nope.
They couldn't do satellite TV.
Nope.
So how did they do that?
That's a good question.
So that's what we're going to be showing in the second clip. So let's check it out.
And when you compare scenes from the Apollo moon landing footage with scenes from Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, there is strong evidence that the exact same technology was used. In the late 60s, a state-of-the-art front projection system developed by Scotchlight allowed Kubrick to simulate expansive backgrounds by projecting them onto a large screen made with small glass beads. The giveaway for this cinematic trickery is that the foreground must always hide the bottom of the Scotchlight projection screen in the background. In order to do this, the bottom of each set needs to have a complete horizon line between the set in the foreground and the screen in the background. And we can see this signature in all the Apollo images. We can also see light refraction off the glass beads in the Scotchlight screen. The lunar module appears to be cheaply constructed with tinfoil and Scotch tape. And the 10,000-pound thrust rocket on this flimsy craft didn't even leave a mark in the ground beneath it. There is no moisture or discernible atmosphere on the moon, and yet we can see mud and dust being flung into the air. In an original recording between Houston and astronauts on the moon, a reply is heard instantly, which would not be possible from that distance.
Roger, Jim, copy. And are you progressing towards Dune Crater now?
Yep.
The same recording was then edited for a public broadcast, and 4 seconds were added.
Roger, Jim, copy. And are you progressing towards Dune Crater now?
Yes.
And when they supposedly left, there was no visible flame on the lunar module, even though hypergolic fuel visibly burns in a vacuum. And we never hear the 140 decibel rocket engine, which the astronauts are sitting on top of.
40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 4 forward. 4 forward. Drift into the right a little. That's okay.
During takeoff, when it would have been burning at its loudest, an astronaut plays a musical recording, accentuating how quiet it is inside the craft.
99 Pro. Good lift off. Automatic.
We've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up.
So they want us to be asleep. They want us to be sheep, and they don't want us to ask questions. And I mean, how could they expect us to not ask questions when we see videos like that? Opa, how old were you in 1969 when the moon landing happened?
Well, I had already graduated from high school, so I probably was, I was in my 20s, I guess.
But you remember it happening and watching it live on TV?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So at one point, every human being believed in the moon landing if they go to, normal school and everything, unless they have teachers like my girlfriend who teaches their kids to question everything, because that's how you learn things, you question things, in my opinion. But me and Opa kind of wanted to show you something interesting, because I think all of this was just a special effect. And when I was a kid, I loved special effects. And my favorite special effects were the ones that Opa showed me from when he was a kid. Let's go ahead and play that Superman one.
Now, when I was in elementary school, this is when the Superman series was playing and real popular on television. They didn't have much to put on television back then. And I would rush home from elementary school so that I could watch my episode of Superman. And when I was a kid, I thought this was the greatest thing ever. I loved Superman. I thought it was a wonderful series. It was, I believed Superman. I believed that he could fly. I believed that he had all these super strengths and bullets would pounce off of him and things. But obviously, when I became an adult and I watched these things, I looked at it and I started laughing, thinking, God, how cheesy is this stuff,
Yeah.
And you could actually see, like when they were fighting or something like that they missed each other. And they had so much stock footage. The Superman series actually, was really, really low budget, super low budget, because originally it was a 30-minute show, and I would say at least 15 minutes of it was the same shots over and over and over again. Later on it went to an hour, but here's a stock shot right there. And
that was obviously rubber, just bounced off his head.
Yeah, that was a rubber gun. And the way he would jump is he'd be on a little platform and he'd jump over to the side, and it made it look like he was on the side of a building. I mean, this is their special effects back in the 1950s.
And it's pretty good. So this was about the time period-ish, I mean, give or take 10 years, that the, quote, moon landing happened. And I say quote because, I mean, looking back at it now, do you think that footage is real?
Of course not now. But back then, I thought it was real. And like I said, they had so much of it was stock footage. That one, he just came down from a platform up on top.
What if the government had told you as a kid that Superman was real and they presented you this footage? Would you believe it?
As a kid, I would, but not today.
But that's how they indoctrinate young people.
Yeah.
Is with TV, and it's always important for the parents to teach their kids life lessons and stuff, and like to question things. And and all that. Here's another one that you showed me earlier. This one's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he comes through this wall.
And here he goes.
Oh my God! Oh,
that's so
look
cool.
at that electricity. Oh.
And you know what? It's not bad. I mean, they do a lot better than I could probably do. I used to make Lego movies. Me and Opa would make Lego movies, but the next thing that I'm going to be talking about actually has to do with stock footage and something else that I saw come up on Joe Rogan's podcast that blew my mind.
Some more stock footage. Always landed in the same place. Always.
Yeah.
All right, so
with that being said, I want to show you, before we move on to the Joe Rogan clip, this third clip of the first nuclear test. Opa, do you know anything about that?
Well, I've seen videos when we were in school, elementary school and whatever, of them doing the tests and stuff.
Well, before we get into it, let's play this clip, which I call the official story.
On July 11th, 1945, a sedan left Los Alamos carrying 1/2 of the world's supply of plutonium in 2 hemispheres the size of half grapefruits. For months, scientists and technicians had been making this trip from Los Alamos, 200 miles south, to the Alamogordo bombing range to prepare for the Trinity test. On a desert valley named by Spanish explorers the Jornada del Muerto, Dead Man's Route, the sedan and its security convoy passed through guarded barriers and entered base camp. Preliminary assembly of the first nuclear bomb was carried out in the McDonald Ranch House, in a room sealed and lined with plastic to protect the finely machined weapon parts from the constantly blowing dust. This ranch, among others, was taken over by the Army to create a bombing range as part of the U.S. wartime effort. In one portion of the range, the Army had constructed a base camp, control points, and bunkers for instrumentation to evaluate the first atomic weapon. Thousands of miles of electrical lines were strung to connect experiments which would measure optical, mechanical, and nuclear effects. Time was terribly short. President Truman was at Potsdam, awaiting the results of the test so that the Allies could plan their attack on Japan, and hoping that a successful test would give him some leverage over the increasingly grasping Stalin. Scientists were working with components and instruments delivered just barely in time. It was ready or not. They had to commit themselves and their experiments to the test. July 13th, they began the final assembly. The bomb was hooked up to a crane which would lift it to the tower. July 14th, finally the ride to the top. Cables, detonators, informer, initiator hookup. July 15th, final dry runs. Tension. Everything ready. July 16th, a rainstorm with spectacular lightning delayed the test from 2 a.m. to 5:29 a.m., just before dawn. Dignitaries from the scientific world watched from the hills. Participants and watchers were instructed to lie on the ground.
So they had no idea what was going to happen.
Only after the initial flash could they look at the developing fireball through welder's goggles. A flare in the sky signaled the final countdown.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Yeah, let's do it on American soil.
The flash was later calculated to be brighter than 1,000 suns. Miles away, a young girl, blind from birth, saw the flash.
That's so
Men
stupid.
at the site felt the heat of a desert sun.
Helen
Then
Keller
came
could
the
see
shock
after
wave.
this.
2 GIs at the command center stood up in their excitement at seeing the boiling cloud and were knocked to the ground. The roar followed, a cascading thunderclap that rolled and boomed out across the desert.
None of them died.
Patient watchers on the mountainsides around Los Alamos saw the flash and heard the distant boom. The coded message sent to Potsdam read, "Operated on this morning. Diagnosis not yet complete, but results seem satisfactory and already exceed expectations." Secretary of War Stimson was also at Potsdam. His diary recounts the effect of the Trinity report on the conference. "Now I know what happened to Truman yesterday. When he got to the meeting after having read this report, he was a changed man. He told the Russians just where they got on and off."
So the question people who believe the moon landing is real, which I used to be one of them, is what's the motive? What was their motive? And it all has to do with politics. If you look at what was happening politically during those times where they needed, you know, like the space race, or we need to beat Russia. I mean, that just showed a whole bunch of politics in that video. And it's just insane, because this next clip, I think is going to blow your mind like it blew my mind. And it's the actual footage of these tests. So check this out.
The facility was equipped with a soundstage, screening rooms, film storage vaults, and naturally a bomb shelter. During its 22 years of operation, Lookout Mountain Laboratory produced approximately 6,500 classified films for the Department of Defense and the Atomic Energy Commission, documenting nuclear test series such as Operation Greenhouse, Operation Teapot, and Operation Buster Jangle.
So one of the conspiracy theories. Okay, here's another conspiracy theory. You've seen all the grainy footage of nuclear test blasts that you've
Sure.
with the mushroom clouds, and there are always these grainy things, and there's all these like little houses lined up and these little trees lined up, and it blows everything down. Well, there's always been a conspiracy theory that those were all basically fabricated at this facility, that those bombs actually were never detonated. And that basically the U.S. military was basically faking these bomb tests to freak out the Russians, to make us think that we had weapons. We had basically a potency to our nuclear weapon arsenal that we actually didn't have at the time.
How did they fake it?
They just did. Yeah, exactly.
So this is
exactly.
it?
Well, so there's a yeah. Okay, so here's the question, right? So what happened? Okay, so this is great. Okay, you'll love this. So what happened to the camera?
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. What
How is that happening yet the camera is like totally stable and fine?
Oh,
right?
My God.
And by the way, and the film is fine. The radiation didn't cause any damage to the film.
Oh my God.
This looks like how you shoot.
Well, and by the way, okay, we'll do this one. We'll do the loop one more time here. Where's the? Let's see the car.
The car's right behind the house. It just showed up.
Oh,
okay.
Just showed up.
So wait a minute. First of all,
wasn't there.
First of all, where'd the car
No
come
car.
from?
No car.
The second is, does it really look like
car?
A real, does that look like a real car?
That's insane.
And look at the and look at the when the house blows. Look at the wood. Does that look like those are full size? Like
It looks like balsa wood.
As they go flying. Yeah.
That's hard to say.
Is that a house or is that like is that a 12-inch scale model?
What?
Right. So like
the fucking car.
Anyway, I don't know. Like I have no idea. Having said that, if that was fake, it was faked at Lookout Mountain.
Wow.
Right. At the exact same place and time.
But did they have the kind of special effects to do something like that in the 40s?
Well, so the full conspiracy theory is it was Stanley Kubrick. Which again, I have no idea.
Well, that does look fake.
Which I would believe.
The camera didn't move at all either.
You know what it looks like? Go back to that real quick. It looks like the smoke is too big. Watch when it hits. Like the volume, like the size of it, it looks small.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks like we're looking at something that's like a few inches tall.
Well, so if you watch like making of Star Wars, any of the any movies before CGI, whenever they do anything like that, it's always with these tiny models.
Yes.
And they just basically what they do is they slow it down and then they add sound.
Yeah, this looks fake as shit.
Right.
The clouds just don't look realistic.
Right.
Like it looks like they're too big and they move too quickly back and forth.
Let's get another one. It's like, okay, what the camera's fine.
That's hilarious.
Oh, there's a good. Yeah, here we go. Okay, there maybe the camera got. Okay, but even still, the camera got knocked over and not destroyed.
Is there a like some sort of a response to that? Have they come with some sort of an explanation?
Not that I know of.
That seems so fake.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, who can tell?
Does that make you wonder about other things?
Well, I mean, it's like in our time, right? It's like how much stuff do you read in the news where you're like, okay, I know that's not true.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, everything I read in the history books, like I was told it was true. It's like, yeah.
It was definitely that one though was really weirdly compelling.
There's another video of them setting up these houses, which I mean, I guess you could make after the fact and say, hey, this is fake, but this is here them setting it up.
Yeah. You just do
real size houses.
Do the sleight of hand.
Huh.
I don't know. I assume this is all. I assume this is all not true, but it is fun to think about.
Why would you assume it's not true? The camera alone, like this alone, like yeah, where is the fucking
I'll look
camera?
up what
Where's
they said
that
about
camera?
the camera? Because they have to have an explanation. Someone must have asked them at some point.
Or nobody asked.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, it might be one of those. Wow, look what they did. We know the Soviets did it too.
Yeah.
Yuri Gagarin, when he was in that capsule in space, you can clear if you see the actual.
And back to
capsule,
the space
and
race.
You see the film footage that was supposedly of him in the capsule. There's like two different sources of light. There's shadows. The camera somehow or another is in front of him. This big ass camera. There's no room in the thing. Like they filmed it afterwards, and it looks fake. Like, oh, I'm sure he really did go into space, but that wasn't it.
So, Opa, tell me those aren't special effects. I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole topic?
Yeah, it looks damn much like they're special effects for sure. Little tiny models made of balsa wood. Bring up some sand to make it look like a big sand cloud. You can tell some of those look like there was a fan right off camera. But the question is when you saw the mannequins all of a sudden blow up or what have you, and the camera looked like it went away. Okay, that's fine, but again,
the film.
What happened to the camera? About the film? I mean, I've been watching this TV series about air disasters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would have the black boxes and the audio recordings and what have you. And this is just a plane crash, not an atomic bomb.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
And you know,
and they have a hard time with that.
It
with the black
didn't
box.
survive.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if it is soaked with too much water, it won't survive, right?
Or the
explosion.
impact,
yeah.
the impact itself of the plane hitting the ground or what have you, that it really destroyed the boxes, or the flames. You know, that it could only withstand 2,000 degrees. And I want to tell you that the atom bomb, the amount of heat generated by that is a lot more than what that camera could stand. It would have melted everything in the camera. And so when they went to, you know, show us the video footage of that mannequin sitting there and going away, it wouldn't have survived.
So they wanted to put fear into kids. Like when you were a kid, you had to watch these duck and cover videos. They wanted you to fear atomic warfare, probably because we didn't know how to do it. Or if we did, we were just starting and other countries had beat us to it. So what's the best way to beat somebody to it? You fake it, right? That's what America has been doing since, I mean, these days. This whole topic just like blew my mind, and then I found the anonymous clip and I was like, oh my gosh, what's real? Like, what is real anymore? Sometimes I just have to sit down and literally ask myself, is this real? Anyways, I don't want to rant, but that's all I got. I'm glad I made a believer out of OPA, and let me know what you guys think. Do you think that was real, or do you think that those were models? Who knows? I'm just asking questions, right? But let's laugh a little. So I want to play this George Carlin clip that I probably played before, but it's always a good reminder to laugh. So check this out.
He don't know. He don't care. Dog don't care. Like I say, he'll do anything. He might embarrass you. He might do something inappropriate when you have company, huh? You might have some folks in visiting you. Some of them you don't know that well. Trying to impress a couple of them. Hey, you might be trying to borrow money off one of these studs. Dog's lying out there in the living room. You got all these people sitting around. You got a little chip, little dip. Dog's in full view of everyone. You got carrot sticks, celery sticks, little lady fingers, finger ladies, all sorts of little things that you got. And everybody's eating nicely. And you look down and you realize that the dog is licking his... No one mentions it. He didn't mean it. He'll apologize to you. He'll come around a few hours later and apologize. He'll give you that doggy look. Give you them eyes, you know, they have such a great expression, almost human. Sometimes we say that, isn't it? Look, he looks almost human, Dan. They do, you know, they look like they know something about your mother. They're not willing to mention it right away. They're just looking at you like they got a trig problem they can't quite solve. There's a sad look in their eyes. All the sadness in the world is right in the eyes of a dog. Did you ever do this? Look right into your doggy's eyes and think of something really sad. And it'll look like it's happening to your dog. You know why they have so successful a look? Because they got eyebrows. Dogs have eyebrows. Or at least little ridges that pass for eyebrows. They got little things that they can manipulate. Just like we do. Oh, please. Please, Daddy. One more treat. Cats can't look at you like that. Cats don't look at that. Cats look at you coldly as if they're testing new eyes. The reason cats look different, cats don't have eyebrows. Cats have a bunch of shit sticking out of their head. They thought it was going to be an eyebrow, but it didn't work out. Let's not tell them. They think it's an eyebrow. Cats are all different. They do everything different than a doggy. Cats are cute. Isn't he cute? Look at him. God, he's cute. He's a kitty cat. That's how cute they are. They needed two names. Kitty wasn't cute enough. Kitty cat. Isn't he cute? The kitty cat. Look at him. Isn't he cute? You little damn kitty cat. Ain't he? Look. Stick him on the wall. See if he hangs up there. Whoa! Kitty cat. They're so damn cute. When they're teeny, I hope he stays that size forever. He's darling. Isn't he wonderful? Cute little kitty cat. They can jump any way they want. When they're teeny, they can jump straight up in the air without a run. They just go. They can even jump backwards to the side. How'd they do that? Holy shit, they can do anything. Jump and be cute as can be. Isn't he cute? God, I love them. They're so cute. They're even cute when they kill. Isn't he? Look, he's playing with the mouse. Bullshit. Mouse doesn't feel that way. They're cute. Oh, he's so precious, just tearing the throat right out of that bird. Cute as can be. They kill. See, they like to kill something. That's what they want to do. That's why they act so nice. They want to go, yeah! Even when they're teeny, when they're just born. You take a baby that is a human, you take a baby dog and a baby cat, and you attack all three of them, which I try never to do if I can help it. But you'll get 3 different results. You attack a baby, he cries. You attack a puppy, he cowers. You attack a kitty cat, he fights. 1 day old, they're looking for some shit. They got their eyes open, they'll get everything. Nasty little cute thing. Cute little nasty guy. Oh, they're wonderful. God love them. They're so physical. That's what's fun. They're so physical. They love to rub on you. They love to rub on you. If you've got a leg and a cat, you got a party. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I love his leg, oh boy.
Romeo did that to Opa today.
Oh boy. If you got 2 legs, Jubilee celebration time. Oh boy, 2 legs, hot shit. I can do the figure 8. They love to do the figure 8. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I love to rub on his leg. They'll rub against your leg even if you're not there yet. You might still be 50 feet down the hall. They see you coming. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Soon I'll be rubbing on his leg. Soon. They'll even walk sideways so they don't miss you. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But you don't have to pet a cat. You just put your hand over him. He'll do all the work, man. You ever pet a cat who's lying absolutely flat, and before you're halfway finished, his ass is way up in the air? Like you pressed the button or something. Isn't he a cute little holy shit? How did he do that? There's one other quality cats have, which I admire. Cats don't accept blame. They don't embarrass at all. A cat does something dumb, you never know it by looking at him. Dog knocks over a lamp, you can tell who did it just by looking at the dog. Not the cat. Cat doesn't accept any blame. Cat moves along to the next activity. What's that? Not me. F that, I'm a cat. Something break? Ask the dog. Cat doesn't get embarrassed. You ever seen a cat race across a carpet and crash into a glass door? I meant that. I meant that. I meant that. That's exactly how I wanted that to look. Meow. 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 That's what they say when they get behind the couch. Cat's too proud to let you see him suffer. But you look behind the couch and you'll find your cat recuperating from a domestic accident. They got little slings and walkers, you know. Tried to make the window from the lamp.
As truthers, we should all have cat mentalities against trolls. Against people who are trying to call us crazy for questioning the narrative, in my opinion. Wasn't that funny, Opa? I love George Carlin. He always makes me
loved him too. I always thought that he was a great comedian.
I wish I could have seen him live. I was too young. But yeah, rest in peace, George Carlin. Well, that concludes today's history segment. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and check this out. Look how cute Charlie is. I'm gonna edit all of this out, but if we don't, let's all look at Charlie. Look how cute he is. Oh, there he is. Charlie, say hi to your fans, baby boy. Oh yeah, get your stretches in. Yeah. All right, Jake. Well, I hope you got some memes for me. Meme me up.
I know you're a little younger than I am. I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro Leagues, went on to become Negro.
Meme me up.
This steak is going to be the best ever. The best ever. This steak is going to be the best ever. That's a Donald Trump steak right there. All right. Good reminder. Let's raise kids who can name more plants and animals than celebrities and brand names. How about let's raise children? Right there, Chris 80. Let's see. I'm just a mom waiting for other moms to question how 8 shots at once is okay when babies can only try one food at a time. Oh, I probably shouldn't have read that. The WHO is going to come and take my head now. Ugh. World War II ends. Nazi scientists disappear into the bush and come out as NASA. You know the 2 creepy girls in The Shining? Here's who they grew up to be. It's Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton. What does it take to waste $10,000 a year? Just $27.40 a day in miscellaneous spending. Wow, it's crazy when you put it into perspective like that. Where does the money go? I broke my leg in 3 places. Then don't go to those places. All right, just a few memes for us this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos and the news. And until next time, peace.
Jake, thank you for the memes and the great current news as always. Opa, thank you for another great Opa's Corner. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode as a whole and the history segment. Never quit fighting. Let no man deceive you. Thank you for coming on this journey with us as we continue our quest for truth. Subscribe and stay tuned.
If you would like to submit a story, topic, or have any other inquiries, please email submit@skibanewsnation.com. Also, you can email Jeremiah Skiba personally at jeremiah@skibanewsnation.com. Also, email Jake personally at jake@skibanewsnation.com. If you want to write us a letter, send us something, help support us, or just say hi, please send your letter to Jeremiah Skiba, P.O. Box 560-271, The Colony, Texas 75056. If you write us a letter, I'll do my best to write you back.
Hey, Skiba News Nation family, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Skiba News Nation. If you want to help support us, please consider becoming a Patreon, where you will get exclusive content, shoutouts, and much more. And you can also support our channel by getting yourself some new Skiba News Nation merch. Thank you for coming on this journey with us as we continue to stay on the quest for truth.
Huge shout out to all our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do this show without you.
If you want to help support us, go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation. Also, you can listen to Skiba News Nation podcast on your favorite podcast platform.